Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to take a quick look at the Space Graphics Toolkit. This is a Unity asset available on the Unity store. And as typical, to install it, you go to Window, you go to Package Manager, you go to My Assets, and then you select it, you click on Download, and then Import. Now, typically when I do these videos, I do a brief overview and then I do an implementation guide. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that into two, maybe even three, because you get so much for this package that I don't think I could do it justice with just one overview, because whereas most packages you get one function, you're actually getting a lot of individual functions that you can combine in different ways. So what I'll probably do is I'll do this brief overview, and then I'll do like one or two and combine some of the effects together to give you an example of what you can do. Anyways, so after you've installed this, you'll have the Space Graphics Toolkit folder, and you are overall getting three things. One, you are getting individual components. So say I was to go to a new scene, create an object, and then I click on Add Component, you will see this category, Space Graphics Toolkit, and then you can start adding these components. And there's quite a few. So you get the individual components to build your own objects and scenes. Two, you already get some of those built in. So features here, you can look at some of the things you can do, like atmosphere. So you've got that. And that one, and that one. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of these. I just want to give you a few examples. Belt, this is probably an asteroid belt. It is. One with lighting, color, and let's take a look at Corona. And I could actually run these, by the way. I'm just trying to give you a brief overview. Flare. As you can see, there's also like this wispy, as well as the stars. Starfield. Okay, like there's that wispy effect again. Let's actually run this one. And so it gives you an example of if you choose that setting, how it will look differently. Okay, so those are the individual features. But then with the packs, and there's additional packs you can download, some of them are free, some of them are paid. And these combine those. So like you saw Asteroid, but this combines Asteroid with like a flare in the middle. So maybe it's supposed to be a star or something. And we've got Dark Star here. So that kind of looks like the Corona with some additional effects to it. So as you can see, these are really professional, and you got quite a few of these too. Now the instructions say that this will support the standard rendering pipeline, the HDRP, the high def rendering pipeline, as well as the URP. So standard is if you choose just a 3D project, and then the other two are the names of the project. So whichever type of project you take that's 3D, this supports it. Although I believe it says there's one or two effects that requires the HDRP. I think there's a black hole effect. But by and large, this is supported by the standard pipeline. And I know that for a fact because that's what I'm using. All I chose was the default 3D. I did not choose HDRP or URP. Space probe. So again, it's combining effects. You've got this flare. There's also a light there. You've got the field. Looks like you've got some thrusters as well as this object. Okay, so that gives you the basics. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is that this is also, it works, there's plenty of documentation. So if you click on guide, you have the local outline documentation, as well as other ways of contacting them. So there's plenty of support for it. And this was actually updated really recently. I believe it was March 12th. So just like 3 or 4 days ago, this was updated as of the time of this recording. And what I wanted to mention is that if you go into one of these scenes, let's go to the asteroid belt. Actually, let's go to the feature. Let's go to the flare. If you click on one of the objects, so see how it says star A? If you click on the flare, you can actually determine how they made that flare and then just recreate it. So you can see this flare, and the SGT just stands for the space graphics. Remember I said that it comes with all these individual components? That's all these are. So you could actually recreate this yourself. So rather than going to another scene and having jumping back and forth, I'll just recreate it right here. So you could do, in your own scene, of course, you could do create empty, and then you start adding. So let's see what we got. We have flare, mesh, and material. So add, got flare, add, mesh, add, material. And it auto applies it there. So you've already started to get it to look a little bit like that. And then you can just see what their settings are like. So we can look at the radius. So their radius is a little bit bigger. That's okay. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. It does use wave, so we'll click on wave, and already you can see how it now travels out vertically and horizontally like that. And you can see what they did. So like for theirs, they did a wave strength of almost 11, so we'll do that. And then 2, 3, and 90. So wave points. So 2, so you only got the vertical. So if you wanted 3, you could do that. Okay, so we're not going to do exactly the same as theirs. And then, let's see, 2, 3, and 90. So let's see, wave power 3. So it makes it wider. So you can maybe make this like 8. Whoops. Actually, I guess. There we go. So the lower number gives you wider. So I guess power is concentration is how they think about it. And again, I'm sure this is all in the documentation. I'm just kind of winging this to show you how easy it is to recreate. And they use a 90 wave phase. So let's see what that does. Looks like that just rotates it. Okay. They didn't use noise, but you can clearly see what noise does. It does just that. It creates like a scatter. And the camera just needs to move, I believe. Or I can just move this. There we go. So I wouldn't want it to be that close. There you go. So just like that, you've created your own flare. So that's what I mean. There's so many features like that. I really can't cover this in one tutorial. So I think I'm going to leave it there. So this is just the brief overview. So like I said, you get the individual components. As you can see, you can readily create your own objects using those components. You get the individual components, you get the individual effects, and like I said, you can just go into each one of these and see how they did it and recreate it yourself, modify it, get the effect that you want. And then last, you get the complete packs. And so that's about it. So if there's anything specific you want to see, let me know. But I definitely think this is a great package. Like I said, I'm particularly impressed with how easy it is to use, how much pre-made content they give you. The documentation seems pretty good. But even if you have issues with the documentations, you saw how quickly I made something just by looking at a pre-existing object. Like you could click on this planet and say, okay, how do they make the planet? Okay, you've got the SGT rotate, the SGT planet, planet water gradient, so on and so forth. So you could pretty easily emulate what they're doing. But what I'll do is, like I said, I'll do a couple videos and maybe create a whole scene, an original scene, maybe have a planet, but maybe there's a sunrise in the background and a nearby asteroid belt, that kind of thing. See if we can make something kind of completely combined, a whole new scene. So if you want to see that, just let me know. Leave a like and a comment. And I don't think I mentioned it yet, but this is on the Unity store and it normally goes for $100 USD, at least at the time of this recording. I believe when I bought it, it was on sale for half price, but I only got around to doing this now. So I do think this is the most expensive single package I've bought, and I'll probably be using this in a project that is going to be probably my next game that I want to complete after my current one. I've been doing a log on my current game, which is very close to completion. It's just a simple defense game, and the game that I'm going to work on after that is going to be basically a space shooter boss rush. So it's going to just be a series of like 15 or 20 flagships, motherships that you have to beat consecutively. So it won't be like Galaxian where you have all these different waves. It's just going to be these big mammoth ships, and they're going to be made out of individual blocks. So kind of a voxel approach, but it'll be a little bit more detailed than that. And I'll probably use these backgrounds as the backdrop for that. The functionality of the ship is entirely different, but I'll probably use these for the backdrops. So I think that's about it. So that should about do it. I hope this was helpful to you, and please enjoy the rest of your day.